Good afternoon. I'm Andrew Wise, Director of Development and Communications at VOAMASS, and on behalf of my colleagues, I'm so pleased to join with you. The Veterans Leadership Awards is our annual celebration to recognize important contributions in the veteran community at VOAMASS and beyond. Today, we'll present awards to 5 incredibly deserving recipients. You'll also hear from 4 experts in a moderated panel discussion focusing on veteran needs in 2020. Of course, this year is different from past events. No open bar, silent auction, dinner, we're not in one room. The easy thing to do is take a pass on the year and come back next year in person. But we don't look for the easy way at VOAMASS, so this screen will serve as our room together. That said, I'll miss hearing the applause shared for our wonderful award recipients. If you were with us last year when David Roberts took to the podium, then you know what I'm talking about. Applause is not just noise, it's a human expression that says, I'm with you and I got you. So being here today present is that expression. Still, it's nice to hear applause, so we did the very next best thing. So it's my pleasure to welcome you to the Veterans Leadership Awards. We stuck the landing, but really it's my pleasure to introduce an important person to our organization, Mr. Chris Bouchard. Chris?
Got to unmute. Chris, we need you to unmute.
Well, I guess that starts us off perfectly, doesn't it?
Take 2.
Hello, everybody. My name is Christopher Burke. Massachusetts volunteers. I'd like to welcome all of you to the 9th annual. First to be done for U.S. Navy veterans. I'd like to start by thanking all the brave men and women. Sacrifice, bravery, and veterans themselves have a very special place in my soul. Board members had the opportunity not long ago to visit several veterans' homes during the event. Frankly, for me, it was life-changing, especially listening to the stories of veterans. Most humbling to me about my experience was how gracious and thankful all were to have a place, meal to eat, a place to put their clothes, shower, and a place where they can obtain the service. At some point in life, these men and women quietly gave their service to the country. Volunteers of America embodies President Lincoln's promise to care for those who shall be born to battle. Now, firsthand, how VOAMASS and a team of professionals are working tirelessly to support that plan. We are now in unprecedented times of providing services.
Andrew, do you want to say something?
Yes, I'm trying. Chris, your words matter a great deal to us. Unfortunately, you were fading in and out.
Apologize.
We were hanging on every word, but I don't know if you'd like to summarize towards the end. I know you had some really great things to say.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes.
Here we go.
Okay.
Perfect.
Sorry, I apologize for the mic. As I was saying, this new battlefield, which is that of the pandemic that we face, is impacting our entire healthcare system. And the VOAMASS team is no exception as they put themselves in harm's way to provide medical care, social services, psychiatric support. Who would have guessed a year ago that we would find ourselves conducting this event? Here we are making it happen, which in my belief is a testament to overcoming challenges and a commitment to our veterans. I truly appreciate having had the opportunity to open mission of VOAMASS to make life better for veterans, women and children of abuse, homeless. Thank you so very much for your supporting commitment. All of you are without question changing people. This time, I'm honored to be VOAMASS President.
Is that a wrap? Unfortunately, Chris, you were kind of still fading in and out, so I believe I'm up. So thank you, Chris, for being on board and for that kind introduction. My name is Charles E. Ganyu, and I'm the new president and CEO of Volunteers America, Massachusetts. So I want to thank everyone for being here today. It's fantastic to have such a great turnout in the middle of the day to support our veterans. I first want to start off with thanking Chris Bouchard. He's an excellent board member. He's a mission-based leader. He's a Navy veteran. He's a rock star in the private sector. He's a committed volunteer, and he's an engaging board member on the VOAMASS board. So I'm really grateful to have him guide me and support me as we push together a new strategic vision for VOAMASS in the future. You know, I've been very blessed. This is month 15 for me. And of course, on month 6, what happened? COVID-19 turned up. And I don't recall it covered in any of my graduate courses. So it was really a great challenge, and I'm so pleased that we stepped up. But our success starts at the top. And we have a prerequisite for our board members to be engaged and committed. And our board chairperson, Jim Goldinger, was very capable, along with Chris, and supported me and the team throughout a very difficult time. But I'm pleased to tell you we had a very strong year performance, and our veterans program continued to meet the needs of the veterans. So I feel very lucky. I want to start with our frontline workers. It's our team that makes the difference. They stepped up after Governor Baker's mid-March executive order. All of our employees, including me, were considered essential workers. They showed up every day to help people in need, help our veterans. That included and it needed resolve, courage, professionalism, compassionate care, and actually putting their own anxiety behind our guests, our clients. I was very proud of their work. The success of our programs mean that our clients succeed, and that's central to the mission. That's why I wanted to work here, because we know we can make a difference in people's lives. The quality of our programs means our veterans, our clients, are prepared to move ahead, live their lives, return to their families, and become productive community members, just like anyone. To deliver these services, especially during the pandemic challenges, it required focus, teamwork, strength, a sense of purpose, and resiliency. And I'm pleased to share you that our team, our frontline workers, display that each and every day. And I'm very proud of that. Of course, the sense of duty was on full display with our veteran service programs. And I want to give just a quick couple shout outs to our team, our leadership team. Matt Morano is a very capable division leader. He leads the veterans, so thank you, Matt. Anthony Joseph, who you will hear from later on, is our capable program director at the Mass Bay Veterans Center. He made sure our veterans in the city of Somerville were safe. Eileen Mirasola is our program director of supported services for veteran families. That's a homeless prevention program to make sure no veteran at risk of being homeless ends up on the street. And last but not least, our own Angela Eberly. She's a program director for the Employment Network. She works to get our veterans full-time employment, ideally a living wage with benefits. So thank you, Angela. Thank you, Eileen. Thank you, Anthony and Matthew. So collectively, our model is a holistic model. Volunteers America, Massachusetts brings all different elements together to help our veterans. It includes providing transitional and permanent housing, behavioral health treatments, employment and training supports, comprehensive case management, and probably most importantly, the circle of camaraderie, a belief that we can help restore independence. And that's something you can't touch. It's something we have to believe in. And together we can deliver that. We have a new tagline. It simply says, care today, opportunity tomorrow. So everything came full circle with the pandemic. It's difficult to imagine our veterans living on the streets or in the cars. It's really impossible to imagine that our homeless vets, some of them are quite elderly. Now think about the image of Jason. Jason arrived at the Mass Bay Veterans Center. He's a 74-year-old veteran. That really got to me, and I know we can do better. I know we must do better. I think collectively, we can do better by our vets in the Commonwealth and in this country, and I'm going to work tirelessly to do that. When COVID-19 hit, it has a disproportionate impact on elders. Our homeless vets come with a lot of multiple underlying health concerns. And Jason found his way to the Mass Bay Veterans Center. The city of Somerville always welcomes our vets, and he received the care he needed when he needed it to be safe and to stay safe. So I get a phone call. It's in the middle of a pandemic, and who is it? But it's our friend, our partner, and leader, Mayor Joseph Curtatone, the mayor of the city of Somerville. I usually don't get calls directly from mayors. And what does he say? Charles, how can we help the Mass Bay Veterans Center? Do you need more PPE? Do you need food? What can I do to help? It was unbelievable, Mr. Mayor. I was very touched. And he backs his words with actions. So he brought together a group of leaders to help bring healthcare prevention to our veterans. Enter Donato Tramuto. Donato will be receiving an award. He's a global healthcare leader. He brings healthcare access to Africa and the city of Somerville and throughout the globe. I'm very, very honored to be in that company. And last but not least, our good friend Sumit Nagpal, founder and CEO of Cherish Health. He provided the cutting edge technology that monitored key health indicators such as oxygen level, heart rate, and other health indicators. It's our goal to have real-time intervention so the vets do not end up in the ER, or we're not treated in real time to make sure if they had COVID, they would be taken care of in a quick, professional way. The partnership was unique. I've never been in a partnership that has the city mayor, an innovation firm, a private foundation with global impacts, and then us. Usually we're not at the table. So our nonprofit brought together the veterans in our holistic approach. And all we want to do is keep our vets safe. We wanted their health to be stable and ultimately secure permanent housing. So I want to share some good news with you today. As of yesterday, Mr. Mayor, Sumit Donato, we have had no positive cases at the Mass Bay Veterans Center during this pandemic. So I would like to shift gears and introduce our 3 inaugural Community Partnership Awards. These are new awards. These are new partners. I feel like we have a very fruitful future. So I want to introduce Mayor Curtatone, Donato Tramuto of eHealth Villages, and of course, Cherish Health's Sumit Nagpal. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to start off with you.
Well, thanks, Charles, and good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor to be here with all of you. And you're very kind and flattering in your comments, Charles. But I want to thank you. I want to thank you to the Volunteers of America and for this honor and recognition, and a huge thank you to the Massachusetts Bay Veterans Center, as well as Cherish Health and Healthy E-Villages for partnering with us on this really impactful, positively impactful program. You know, one of the things we learned about COVID-19 was, and we continue to learn, but one of the things we learned right away was how quickly it could spread through shared living spaces like veterans homes or senior living facilities. And often, as we have heard tragically, with very deadly results. And we didn't want to see that happen in our veterans homes in Massachusetts and across the country, but certainly not to happen here in Massachusetts and Somerville. So as you all know, we worked with Cherish Health, Healthy E-Villages, and VOA Massachusetts together to bring this sort of non-invasive way to monitor residents at the Veterans Center for early warning signs of COVID-19. And the hope being that cases could be caught early so individuals could be quarantined and given the proper medical care right away, and hopefully avoiding any large outbreak or loss of life and or more serious medical complications. And being part of, let me just say that being part of this program was a no-brainer for Somerville. Throughout this pandemic, we have been doing everything we can, including looking at these sort of abnormal, out-of-the-box ideas and working with community partners and stakeholders like yourselves to protect our residents from this disease and keep them healthy and safe. And we have especially been focused on helping those most vulnerable to the coronavirus. And it's, I'm flattered to get this award for doing my job, but it's only right that we do what we can to protect the people who have sacrificed, especially most vulnerable, sacrificed so much on our behalf, such as the veterans living at North Street. Trying to control COVID-19 in our community, as you can imagine, has been an enormous, overwhelming task. And it's one that, one individual can't do alone. It's not an individual challenge. It's not one community can do alone. We need collective action. Veterans have shown us the power of collective action and selfless service on behalf of their fellow man, their community, their country. One bright spot during this pandemic has been seeing how willing our residents and community partners have been to join us to help their neighbors. And I submit, for me, we should all look upon the selfless service of our veterans and their history to inspire that action and that will. So I want to thank everyone who stepped up to protect our veterans, including our volunteers from American, Massachusetts, yourself, Charles. I mean, if everybody was willing to partner as much as you would do, we could do a lot more. I might have been on a phone call. I think within 10 seconds, you're like, okay, what are we going to do? Massachusetts-based Veteran Center program, and Anthony Joseph, and case manager Howard Bennett. I think you hit it on the head, Charles. Frontline essential workers. Behind the scenes, behind the CEOs and the mayors, there's so many people doing the frontline work, and they're unheralded. I've seen it firsthand. I miss being with all of you on those events to, not just to participate in Veterans Day or some other moment to speed our veterans, but to experience the humanity and compassion that you show every day. And we have a lot of fantastic, talented people here in the Somerville organization doing that work in the community who just do it out of love for their neighbor. I also, Sumit Nagpal from Cherish Health, who brought this technology to us, and I'm so grateful for that it was able to help people. We knew it would. And Donato Tomato from Healthy Villages. It's been an incredible partnership, and one that certainly can be scaled up, and I hope it will be, and learn from. But again, while I am honored and humbled to accept this today, and I want to recognize all those who are being recognized today, I want to make it clear, one, it was a team effort. I delivered you the opportunity, Charles, that was presented to me. So on behalf of all those involved, especially from the city, this is for them. And it is a no-brainer, and it is our responsibility to take care of those who are most vulnerable and those who've taken care of us. And we need to remember that. It's immeasurable to understand today what the impacts of COVID-19 are, not just now, but in the future. And at some point, we'll figure out. And I hope that more, and I pray and call upon all of us to do what we need to do as individuals, one, and follow the examples, the exemplary history of our veterans, to not let our guard down, to step up to protect not just ourselves, but selflessly protect everyone in our neighborhoods, our friends, our neighbors, the people we work with, our frontline and essential workers. And I thank all of you for what you do every day. It's an honor to be here with all of you. I'm humbled, but I want to also give a special shout out to our Director of Veteran Services, another one of those unheralded workers who works on behalf of veterans. That's Ted Louis Jacques. I want to accept this on his behalf as well. Thanks, Charles.
Well, Mr. Mayor, that was lovely, and I appreciate your continued partnership and commitment to serve our neediest. I do have an award for you. It's a virtual award. We're gonna drop this off and make sure. I just want to read the encryption real quick. I think this is very fitting. Quote, "For your enduring friendship to the veteran community, Mayor Joseph Curtatone." Thank you. Now I'm going to shift gears to our next partner, Donato Tramuto. Donato's an outcome-oriented, he's a high-impact philanthropist. He's a global innovator leader bringing access, healthcare access to Africa, to China, to Europe, and city of Somerville. Donato is a thought leader. I've only got to know him recently, and he just blew my socks off. He's very impressive. I can learn so much from you, Donato. Donato underwrote and funded this entire healthcare pilot. Without Donato's commitment and financing, this would not have happened. So thank you, Donato. Your passion around technology, improving access to healthcare, certainly for the people that we serve at Volunteers America, is central. So I appreciate all the work you're doing. We've had a discussion about collaborating in the future. I look forward to that. So I would like to provide you with an award, Donato. Here it is. I don't know if people can see it. It simply reads, for being a lighthouse to help deliver countless safe and healthy journeys. So Donato, would you like to share a few thoughts and comments about your work in this award? Thank you.
Thank you, Charles, and to your wonderful team at Volunteers of America, Massachusetts. Thank you to Tony, his staff, and the residents of the Massachusetts Bay Veterans Center, and to my great friend Sumit for recognizing the importance of maintaining a double bottom line in business. And if I may break from English and say in Italian, grazie mille to Mayor Curtatone. It's a pleasure to meet you. The great educator Horace Mann once said, quote, be ashamed to die until you have won some victory for humanity. In that spirit, I want to recognize the many victories your organization has tallied for our veterans and their families, and many thanks to the distinguished guests and presenters who are participating in today's event. Your collective efforts are making this world a more compassionate and kinder place. Healthy Villages was launched in 2011 after I uncovered an article calling out that in our lifetime, 1 billion people will go to their graves prematurely because they did not have access to a healthcare worker. How could anyone accept that 15% of our world's population is doomed simply because they were born in a less desirable zip code? On this particular day, the International Human Rights Day, let us remember that Article 25 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights states that healthcare is a basic human right for every single person. And when one person has not had access to healthcare, we have violated this declaration. Healthy Villages embraces this belief. Today, we are partnering with organizations in 13 different countries, helping medical workers diagnose and treat people in some of the poorest and most remote regions of the world. And we are saving lives. For example, in East Africa, in a small village called Lawala, 80 more babies per 1,000 live births are now alive because of Healthy Villages and the technology we have made available. Here in the United States, I was very fortunate to have had the knowledge that Sumit had been completing his newest innovation, a biosensor monitor patch, when the pandemic hit. When Sumit called me about the Massachusetts Bay Veterans Center in Somerville, explaining that the residents there could clearly benefit from the biosensor patch, there was no hesitation on my part to join in this collaborative partnership and together tally a victory for our veterans. While I am honored to receive this award from the Volunteers of America, I don't view this or any award as a symbol of what has been achieved. Rather, it is an acknowledgement of what still remains to be done. Thank you for allowing me to give back to these veterans who deserve to live with dignity and compassion. And Charles, it is my fervent hope that this is a start of a longer-term partnership. People who know me know that my life has been inspired by some great heroes, including President John F. Kennedy, who was a true hero while serving in the United States Navy during World War II. Today, I recall his words, which are most appropriate for this occasion. Quote, as we express our gratitude, we must never, ever forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. Thank you to all of you for living out in action the very deeds that are winning victories for others.
Donato, thank you very much. That was so articulated and passionate. I'm just so pleased we got to meet. I'm pleased that you were able to help the veterans, so thank you. I'm going to move on to our next community award. It's certainly not the least and the last. It's our good friend Sumit Nagpal. Sumit brought his cutting edge technology, his incredible sense of optimism, passion, and brilliance to this collaboration. As soon as I met him, I was like, God, I wish I was that smart. Anyways, he designed and developed the biosensors that we used. That was so helpful. And he had such grace when dealing and training our staff and our veteran clients. And that sensitivity really built a lot of trust, which is difficult with some of our veterans. You know, in the sense of the sensors, Sumit, you gave us a pause in our anxiety and some hope that we could do better in a very unknown situation. And, you know, once again, all we learned from this pilot and through today, no positive cases. It's just so remarkable. So I would like to share this award with you, Sumit. And I know I will see you soon. And this one really is spot on. For sharing your unwillingness to postpone the possible. That's you. So I want to thank everyone for attending this event. Mayor Curtatone, let's keep going. Donato, Sumit, I really appreciate your trust and willingness to include Volunteers in America in this important collaboration. It's really inspired me. I feel blessed and honored to be part of this collaboration, and our team, including Anthony and Howard at the Mass Bay Veterans Center, do the real work every day. And I want to just end, Donato had inspired me about a concept he's been writing about. And because of the mayor, the Sumit, and Donato, you provided Volunteers of America for an opportunity to raise our collaboration IQ. And what that means is that I'm going to commit today to collaborating better and more wisely in the future to support our veterans and meet our mission. And I can't do it alone. Mr. Mayor, I need your support and your team. Sumit, I need your brilliance. And Donato, your resources and passion can be a game changer for us and our veterans. So please join me in congratulating all the winners of the Community Partnership Awards. Woo! So having said that, thank you. I'm going to turn the mic over to Andrew Wise, our Director of Resource Development and Communications. Andrew?
Charles, thank you so much. And Sumit, I know that I believe we're being joined with Jason from the Mass Bay Vet Center, and I'm hoping the two of you can, I know that you wanted to say a few words to Jason and to our community as well.
That's great. Thank you. I'm assuming you can hear me.
You sound great.
Fantastic. So I'd like to begin, firstly, you know, it's very hard to follow the three gentlemen who just laid it all out so clearly. But I'd really like to begin by thanking Mayor Curtatone. Mayor, your leadership during this abnormal time has been nothing short of courageous. And as people who live and work in your neighborhood, we are proud and grateful. Dear Donato, thank you for doing what you do, seeing this moment for what it is, and helping us all to step up and help. We're grateful to you and Healthy Villages for your generous support. I personally learn from you every day, and you are that lighthouse that Charles described. He did that so well. Dear colleagues at Volunteers America, Charles, for your boundless energy, vision, humility, we saw that today. Anthony, Andrew, your teams, thank you for welcoming us into your work and your lives, and for letting us help you serve the people you serve. When we all started seeing the world locked down earlier this year, my team and I took stock and realized that this accessory we had built, a biosensor patch, had the capacity to detect and monitor what we understood were the key symptoms of COVID. We realized that we could use this to help people with mild to moderate symptoms recover safely in their own homes, reduce utilization in hospitals, help reduce exposure for our precious medical professionals, perhaps reduce people's hardship. This initial work has now grown well beyond our neighborhood. This technology is supporting infected patients in facilities across the US and now in the UK, the UAE, India. This was not in our business plan, and the biosensor is only an accessory to the game-changing technology that we're building that we hope will change the lives of elderly and frail people and those who live with chronic conditions. We could not be more grateful for this opportunity to serve in this time of need. And really, this award belongs to the people we serve. So someone I would really like to recognize and dedicate this award to is Jason Bates. He's a resident of the Mass Bay facility in Somerville. Jason became an early adopter of this technology and continues to teach us lessons in courage, in humility, and inspires us every single day. Jason, this is for you. And I yield the remaining time to you, Jason. You're muted. Someone needs to unmute Jason. Thank you.
Well, I'm very surprised and I'm humbled. This is quite unexpected. I can't say enough good things about the Mass Bay Veterans Center, how they turn people's lives around and help people to get a footing and get back into society with a place to live and a job. So the people here are just wonderful, and they do save lives, and they've saved my life. I was one of those people living in their car for a year. So I have some health issues, and they're wonderful about that. And they take wonderful care of us. They feed us well. I couldn't ask for better. I'm in a wonderful, safe place, and I can't say enough good things about them. And so they make it easy for me to be the way that I am. You know, it's humbling, and I thank you so much.
Jason, thank you. Thanks for sharing. I really appreciate it. Stay well, my friend.
Thank you.
Congratulations to everybody.
I just want to thank Sumit once again for dedicating the award to Jason. That was very touching and very classy. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jason.
And thank you. And congratulations to all. Now I'd like to play a short video. The video focuses on a past veteran at the Mass Bay Vet Center. I want to tell you a quick story. The video is incredible. You'll see, I promise. I know we're not supposed to talk about how the sausage is made, how the video was shot, but there's a scene that you should see. The video is real, all real scenes, everything, except there's one scene that was scripted. We wanted to show what a group therapy would look like. So a bunch of guys in a circle. So clients and staff, they humored us and got in a circle strictly for the video. And as we stood around while the cameraman fiddled with his lens and the light guy adjusted the lighting equipment, something happened. Minutes went by and the guys forgot we were in the room. I guess there's something about a circle. They started talking, real talk, about pain, about the things that they were grateful for. They were grateful for one another. They were grateful for the support they got from the staff. These were strong men with open hearts. And this unplanned session is the result of what happens when you create open and trusting spaces. And it was incredibly moving. And that's what the Mass Bay Vet Center is all about. So please enjoy this short video.
Something happened to me while I was in the military, and when I came out, I had a lot of problems. I ended up with post-traumatic stress disorder, and I was in the hospital a few times for that. It was rough out there, being on the streets, living in shelters. Didn't know which way to turn, turned to drugs and alcohol to escape that. Isolation was my biggest fear. A friend of mine gave me a recommendation for this Mass Bay Veterans Center. It was a great program for veterans. It took me a long time to climb out of that hole, and I finally got the help from these people here at VOA. Well, this place is a great opportunity to work with counselors that really helps me understand what the problems I'm going through. They help you with the mental issues and whatever they need that to address, and they address it here. We have groups for support. We have another worker that finds you employment, and we have other workers that we get out there for housing. So they all work together here to help us. At the Mass Bay Veterans Center, I do a lot of volunteer work. My mom used to say to me, be good to people and people will be good to you. It's a positive feeling to help somebody out like that, because I change. If I can help them change their ways, it's the most important thing in my life. This place has really changed me in a better way. I started exercising more, I started eating better, and I feel better about myself. I've been 4 years clean. It's the first time in my life I had this long, clean, sober life, and I'm going to keep it this way.
So that staff in the video, that was Anthony. Anthony Joseph, Program Director at the Mass Bay Vet Center. Anthony, Howard, the whole team, they're like wizards doing incredible work. So now I'd like to welcome Anthony to the mic, because I know he has an award he'd like to give out. Anthony, you're up.
Anthony, you're still on mute. There you go.
Anthony, you have to unmute.
We got it. All right. Hi, everybody. Of course, you know I'm Anthony Joseph, Program Director of the Mass Bay Vet Center. Long sitting here with Howard. And as the Mass Bay as the Director of the Mass Bay Vet Center, I'm responsible for 29 men who reside at the center. It takes an entire team effort to ensure our clients receive the best possible care. Our team extends beyond VOAMASS and includes important partners like the VA. And I couldn't ask for a better partner than Kate Alves, our VA liaison. Kate Alves has been a vital part of the Mass Bay Vet Center team for several years and has always been available to answer every single question from veterans and staff. She is incredibly supportive, is fair, and always acts in the best interest of our veterans. Her work and integrity are unquestionable, and we couldn't have a better person on our team. Kate, congratulations on receiving the 2020 Veterans Leadership Award. Your award states, for your unwavering advocacy, compassion, and commitment to lift up veterans in need. Kate, congratulations, and I invite you to the mic.
Thank you. Oh, thanks, Anthony. I wish we were in person. I'd give you a hug. Thank you. I feel so lucky to work with the folks over at Mass Bay Veterans Center, and I can't say enough great things about your program. Under the leadership of Matt Morano, Anthony Joseph, Program Director, Howard Bennett, Case Manager, the clinicians on site, the front desk staff from front to back, everybody involved with the program truly cares about the veterans they work with, and it shows. I want to give a special shout out to Anthony and Howard specifically, who always, again, in my years working with them, have always provided excellent care to the veterans they work with. And in particular this year during the COVID-19 pandemic, they worked on site every day throughout the entire pandemic, which I'm sure was not easy and probably stressful on their personal parts as well. And it really did benefit the veterans that they work with, and it shows. I mean, Again, I think the performance measures that they have speak for themselves, but also just the compassion that they have for the veterans they work with really provided stability and support that was so needed for our most vulnerable veterans during this really difficult time period. So I can't say enough great things about you guys. I feel like you deserve all the awards. I'm really lucky to work with you, and you make my job so easy. So I'm humbled and grateful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kate. We're glad to have you.
So please join me and everyone, and let's congratulate Kate for receiving the Veteran Leadership Award. We lost our applause. It's there though, it's there. Well, we're fortunate to have some experts in the room. We know that there are pillars that keep our foundation strong. When one weakens, another must compensate, but is also weakened. And when one crumbles, the foundation is lost. These pillars are health and behavioral health, housing, and financial stability. Good health, a roof over your head, and a job. Our services focus on these pillars, and our panelists in the room are experts on these pillars. So I am pleased to introduce our moderator for this discussion, Fred Tice. Fred reported on politics, higher ed, and veterans at WBUR from 1998 until this year. Prior to joining BUR, Fred was the Mexico City bureau chief for NBC News. He managed a team covering Latin America, including a highlight such as directing coverage on the takeover of the Japanese embassy in Lima by guerrillas. Before that, Ted produced news for CNN International and was their New York bureau. I'm pleased to turn over the mic to Fred Tice. Fred?
Hi, everybody. Can you all hear me? I think I can't turn on my video, so Megan will have to turn on my video for me. Let me just go ahead and introduce our incredible panelists here. Okay, that should do it with the video. First, we have Senior Chief Petty Officer Keith German. He's a lifelong resident of Hingham. Keith began his naval career in 1985, just one day after graduating from high school. Keith's deployments included combat operations in Africa and in the Persian Gulf. He served in both Desert Shield and in Desert Storm. He retired from active duty in 1993, and he began his civilian career as a licensed electrician with Local 103. However, after witnessing the horrors of 9/11, Keith returned to service. He affiliated with the U.S. Navy Reserve, and subsequently, his unit was twice deployed overseas, pressed into service during Operation Iraqi Freedom in 2005 and in 2008. Today, Keith serves the residents of Hingham as Certified Commonwealth of Massachusetts Veterans Service Officer. He's received numerous medals, awards, and citations, including Navy and Marine Corps Commendation and Achievement Medals, the National Defense Service Medal, and the CB Combat Warfare Specialist insignia. Colonel Bob Notch served in the Army for 27 years, and today he serves as the Program Development Officer at Brighton Marine. He's passionate about serving uniformed service members, veterans, and their families. His work at Brighton Marine is developing collaborative partnerships with military and veteran family service partners through a physical and virtual hub that streamlines the connection between the veteran client and the service provider. And in addition to his role in building a veteran network community at Brighton Marine, Bob is president of the Greater Boston Veterans Collaborative, co-chair of Our Community Salutes Eastern Massachusetts Planning Committee, and first vice president of the South Shore chapter of Military Officers Association of America. Ted Louis-Jacques is a U.S. Army veteran and a corporal of the United States Army Reserves. Corporal Louis-Jacques enlisted in the Massachusetts Army National Guard in 2014, and he was deployed in the Middle East in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. He returned home in September 2016 Ted currently serves as Director of Veterans Services for the city of Somerville. And previously, he served as lead liaison in the Haitian American community for the city of Malden. Ted is also the founder of Malden Rising Leaders, Inc., a nonprofit organization focused on youth leadership and development. And Ted served as class president at Mount Ida College, where he earned his bachelor's degree and also received a graduate certificate in Homeland Security and Emergency Management from Central Texas College. And last, Angela Aberle is the program director at VOAMASS's Homeless Veteran Reintegration Program. A proud Detroit native, Angela joined the VOAMASS team in 2012, and she's been part of its veterans program since 2014. She's played a critical role in expanding and launching veterans services. Angela has more than a decade of experience in the social service sector, including leadership roles, working with youth, reentry populations, addressing substance abuse, and mental health disorders. Angela practices a trauma-informed approach, working with clients in harm reduction framework. She's currently working towards her MBA and is certified in federal grants management. And I'd like to start off asking all of you, and just feel free to jump in as you will, and I will call on you if if we're not hearing from you and other people are maybe dominating the conversation. So let me just throw it out to all of you. What has been the biggest impact on of the pandemic on your ability to serve veterans?
I'll jump in if that's okay. First off, I want to thank Volunteers of America for inviting me to participate in this panel. Great group of partners that are here on with me and a great group of experts. So thank you very much. And I also want to thank Volunteers of America for being a partner with our coordinated care network to be able to serve veterans through one portal in order to get assistance. So the interesting point I want to share is, we launched our coordinated care network about 3 years ago. And to date, we've got about 40 partners that serve veterans in different capacities. And we're able to connect veterans to get the service they need through an electronic portal. They don't get lost in the system. And the struggle we had was when the shutdown happened. So April, May, June timeframe, we saw a significant decrease in the number of veterans that were reaching out for assistance. And I thought maybe that was an anomaly just with our partnerships, but in my role with the Greater Boston Veterans Collaborative, we did an informal check with the organizations that participated in that group. And many of the nonprofits saw the same thing. And I think what happened was when the services, the communities were shutting down, businesses were shutting down, people really closed in on themselves and they stopped reaching out for some of that assistance. It was still there, but I think they closed their doors a little bit. An interesting opposite of that is our partners at the city and state level noticed a significant increase in the number of veterans that were reaching out for help. So the dynamic there is really, I think like most of us, we kind of pulled into our homes and kind of took care of our families and ourselves and weren't really reaching out for that assistance. But then in some cases, they knew that they could go to my city or I can go to the state and I can get that assistance that's available.
Yeah, Ted and Keith, you want to jump in of what you're seeing either in Hingham and Somerville?
Yeah, I can definitely echo what the Colonel said, that, being one of the 250 certified VSOs in the state that's responsible for the delivery of Mass General Law Chapter 115 veterans benefits, we actually had to stand up a new program called the Safety Net Program so that qualifying dependents and veterans and their surviving spouses would be eligible to receive these benefits. And we had to change the way we were doing business. We could no longer see people face to face. We had to change the policies and procedures that were already in place for years. I mean, many years, over 100 years actually. And we did see that uptick that Colonel Notch is talking about. People realized that, hey, I'm shuttered in now. I can't get out into the public. But I know that the town hall, city hall estate is still available for me, and we did see an uptake in bringing on qualified clients throughout the state. They need, their needs range from daily living expenses, medical costs, rent or lease or mortgage assistance, and especially fuel assistance. So those four pillars, they increased exponentially.
Absolutely. Again, thank you to VOA Massachusetts and for you guys for organizing this. This panel is great. Like the Colonel and Keith said, I would say one of the biggest thing for me was that I stepped into this role on February 10th, and 3 weeks later we were shut down. And here I am coming up, with the 30, 60, 90-day plan and everything that I thought we were going to be doing. And we just had to, again, reimagine this and figure out how are we going to best serve our veterans in the middle of a pandemic and not knowing what it was going to be like. So we did see uptake in, people reaching out to our offices. We just resumed to, phone calls and getting in touch with them that way, sending out letters. The isolation part was very big. Amongst veterans, feeling alone, etc. So we were able to reach out to them, getting them the help that they needed. But again, it was very tough at first, and then we started to figure out ways to move forward past this and best reach out to our vets.
Angela, what do you see as the biggest impact of the pandemic on your work with veterans?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, everybody. I want to say it's a pleasure to be part of the panel with all of you experts, and being in the workforce development, overseeing the programs that operate with employment training for the incarcerated and homeless veterans. The biggest shift obviously has been with the shutdown that we've had to create the entire program to be virtual. There's no more going and interacting in the community at the VA, within the jails and the facilities to reach these veterans who need workforce. So we've had to use our best practices and kind of refine the program from centering it for employment purposes and ensuring that the veterans are receiving essential needs, sanitizing stuff, homes, and they have everything they need to survive during this pandemic. So we created our program to be virtual, and graciously enough, Bob Notch and Brighton Marine donated 25 iPads to Volunteers of America for our veterans to have access to Zooms and virtual appointments for mental health, any medical and other programs to receive assistance in that capacity. So that has definitely been the biggest change that we have noticed.
What do you think is, I'll stay with you, Angela, first. What do you think is the biggest need that veterans have now, and how that might be different from before, or maybe it's still the same needs?
The needs have shifted because of all of the opportunities under the CARES Act, I'm going to say. A lot of the vets right now are pretty content with some of the benefits that they are receiving. They're not really they're not looking for employment. That's not their number one. They're looking, there's a lot of them surviving right now, and housing and food and shelter are kind of taking priority over everything that's happening right now.
Keith, what are you seeing in Hingham?
Believe it or not, even in Hingham, we're seeing an actual uptick because of the isolation of suicides, veteran suicides. And then we have weekly calls, Ted and I and the other 248 veteran service officers link in with the state. We talk with the Secretary of Veterans Affairs, Colonel Cheryl Poppy, and her staff, and we get a brief weekly. And that, believe it or not, that isolation is further driving those that are already affected by mental health issues like PTSD, TBI, etc., into a more lonely world. And the end result of that is suicide. And nationally, the average has risen just in this last 18 months alone. It was at 17. We had gotten to 17, and now we're back to plus 20 again. So 20 members, military members or veterans take their lives on a daily basis in this country. And it's sad to see that this pandemic may have increased that statistic.
Ted, do you want to add anything to that from your perspective in Somerville?
Yes, absolutely. In Somerville, what we're seeing is that depending on the age group, there's a difference between the needs of the veterans. Like, for example, what I'm seeing right now from a lot of the younger vets who are, police officers, firefighters, or in different civil service jobs, is that this is a good time for them to get a VA loan. So, they'll be out there reaching out to our office to figure out how do they go about getting connected with different VA connections and anything that they need from the city or what we can offer. Now, on the older side, we're seeing folks who are in need of, food, who are getting different needs of that. So I'll just leave it there to give everybody else a chance to talk. Yeah.
Bob, let me come to you. What are you seeing from with regard to addressing the issue of suicides, as you're hearing from the towns, or something else that you might want to bring up?
I highlight two things that we've noticed. One was the food insecurity piece, and more evident in the number of food packages that are being delivered to the veterans in the community. It was one of those issues where we didn't necessarily see the demand, the ask for help, but once it was out there, it was being received over and over again. So that is one that has shown itself just by the value of being there. And the second one is, we opened our 102 unit apartment building in February, right as the pandemic started. That building filled up to 96% full by June, July timeframe. So when you would have thought things would have slowed down and people are staying where they're at, that building continued to fill using the proper protocols to make sure that we weren't spreading the virus. But there was still a need for housing. And we opened a second housing facility here just a couple months ago for formerly homeless veterans, and that building is full already. So I think food and housing are probably the two key things that we saw.
And can I ask you then, Bob, let's start with you, Bob, just how do you, maybe we'll have to wrap it up with you. We just got a couple of minutes, but I'll let you wrap it up, Bob. So how can people help out most with, the greater community? Where can it come in and help all of you fulfill the needs of veterans? Where do you see the most urgent need, where people can come in and actually provide you with more resources?
Well, there's so many nonprofit organizations in this state. There's over 200 that serve just veterans specifically. So it is likely that an individual find a nonprofit in their community to provide support. Take a look, see where your interests lie. If you are interested in housing, then find an organization that works with housing. If you're interested in food or employment, then find one of those. The second part is Massachusetts is unique in that every city and town has a veteran services officer in the community. And so that is one office that anyone living in Massachusetts can reach to and say, I am here to help, or how can I help is probably maybe the more important question. And that individual, these guys right here, Ted and Keith on with us today, will help kind of direct them to where they are seeing the needs. And that way you're helping the veterans in your community, your neighbors.
Well, Bob Notch of Brighton Marine, Ted Luijak of Somerville, Keith Jarman of Hingham, and Angela Aberly of VOA. Thank you so much for this discussion and for sharing your insights.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So when you hear about the seriousness of these issues that we're facing, you see what we're up against, and we're so incredibly fortunate to have skilled professionals doing this work every day. Keith, Angela, Bob, Ted, thank you so much for that insightful conversation. And Fred, hats off. Thank you, sir, for joining with us and helping to guide that conversation. So much appreciated. And as a gesture of gratitude, each of you will receive a box of artisan fudge directly from EOD Fudge. It's a perfect transition to the It's a perfect transition to the final segment and final award. EOD Fudge is a Florida-based company that produces totally delicious fudge and confections. EOD is an acronym for Extraordinary Delights, but it's also short for Explosive Ordnance Disposal. And its CEO and founder is Aaron Hale. Now we come to an event highlight, the presentation of the Captain Thomas Hudner Award. Captain Hudner was a Massachusetts native. He served our nation with the highest of honors, including receiving the first Medal of Honor awarded during the Korean War. Captain Hudner risked his life repeatedly to attempt multiple rescues of his wingman's fallen plane, taking on enemy fire all the while, even crash landing in enemy territory. Each year, we select a winner of this award, a veteran who honors Captain Hudner's legacy of bravery. Aaron Hale is such a man. It is worthy to honor ordinary people doing great things. Sometimes we get to honor extraordinary people doing ordinary things, like making fudge. Aaron Hale is profound. It comes from his nature. I could read his entire bio, which is extensive and has been widely covered by national news outlets, and many of you are probably familiar with, but I'll just touch upon a few specifics. Aaron served as a military chef in the Navy with experiences in Europe until he found himself in Iraq running a mess hall for 400 soldiers. He was a patriot and he served out a sense of duty. But he would say, as the war ravaged on, from the mess hall, he felt like he was watching the war on television. So after 8 years as a military chef, Aaron began a second military career. Switching branches, he returned to the States for training to become an explosive ordnance disposal technician. This required enormous scientific learning and training, what he calls the CSI stuff. These soldiers are trained to secure and handle chemical, biological, nuclear weapons. They dismantle and safely dispose of explosives. It wasn't enough that Aaron was serving his country overseas in the military. He needed to push himself more and beyond, push himself to help more people. So fast forward 4 years, and now Aaron was serving his second tour of duty in Afghanistan, having become an EOD tech team leader. And it was then that an unknown IED exploded in his face. One war ended for Aaron, but another began. And as Aaron put it, my face melted, spinal fluid was coming out of my nose, my eardrums were blown out, I couldn't see. And yet his reaction was to get to his feet to help others. Aaron lost his sight in that explosion, but he picked himself up. He's a warrior. He learned to move on in life without vision. He ran marathons. He climbed mountains. He kayaked rough waters. He did it all. And then he found himself in the dark again. Fragments from the explosion in his skull led to a condition, and he lost his hearing. He was truly in the dark. And after long, painful rehab with multiple surgeries, some of Aaron's hearing was returned with cochlear implants. But we are not awarding the Hudner to Aaron because he survived the explosive, although he could for his selfless service. And we're not awarding the Hudner to Aaron because today he still continues to run marathons and kayak rough waters and do all sorts of crazy stuff. We're giving Aaron this award because of his fudge. Seriously. Imagine being in the dark in the most awful and real sense. no sight, no hearing, no sense of time or future. But Aaron says, my life is not mine alone. He is a man of purpose. And this is what makes him profound. There is within him a sense of purpose that comes with his trials. He is a willful model of a recovery, not to live the life, but to live a life with purpose. So Aaron's done it all. He was knocked down and he got up again and again. And now with his wife, Michaela, at his side, he simply wants to make the best fudge in the world. And this fudge instructs us to live with purpose. And that's why Aaron is our Hudner recipient. So please join me in congratulating Aaron Hale with this year's Captain Thomas Hudner Award. Aaron, I hope you can share some words with us. Aaron is muted right now.
Hey, Aaron, this is Megan. If you just accept the start video request, you should be good.
I'll say while we wait for Aaron to join us, I had the opportunity to speak with him a couple of times over the course of a few hours. And I think he's with us. All right.
Oh, here I am. That's my IT director, my wife. Thank you very much, Andrew. And to distinguished panelists, fellow veterans, thank you so much. So much respect for your efforts and your selfless service. Thank you. It's an honor to be among you. Being blind and deaf, except for the medical aids, I'm no stranger to social distancing. So isolation, I do know. And again, that's why I appreciate all of your efforts. If not for the advancements in medical technologies and mental health, lobbying on the Hill for to keep up to date with our legislation, I could possibly be pulling the full Helen Keller right now. So I appreciate it all. When Andrew told me that I'd be receiving this award, I had to look up the namesake of the award, Captain Hudner, and read about his sacrifice in crash landing his aircraft to save his fellow pilot, the first Black Navy pilot as well, which coincidentally is pretty amazing. But being a soldier, I was thinking, the same thought kept popping up while reading about this Navy pilot and how he was awarded. And I just kept thinking that if he was in the Army, he'd be court-martialed for destruction of government property. He might still get the Medal of Honor, but he'd have to pay for that thing. Anyways, things that go through my head. I really do appreciate this, the efforts by everybody to take care of my fellow veterans. It's a duty of all of ours, including my own, to take care of our troops, not just while they're overseas, but when they come back home. So I can guarantee you two things. One, I don't deserve this accolade. And two, I'll never stop helping, never stop trying. And thank you.
Aaron, thank you so much. I just want to share with you that having the opportunity to talk with you a few times over the course of hours that I cherish those conversations. You're a remarkable person, but you're also just a really good dude. So
Thank you.
with this award, thank you for being part of this event. And please know that you'll now forever be part of VOAMASS. So everybody, please join me in congratulating Aaron Hale on this year's Hudner Award. Do we have our applause? This has been a fantastic hour plus, getting to share with you remarkable work being done in our community for veterans, remarkable veterans doing remarkable things. And before we close out, I would like to ask Charles to return to the mic to share some final remarks.
Sounds good. Can everyone hear me?
You sound good, Charles. We don't see you, but we hear you.
Come on, I want to be seen here. I'll start my video. Just hang on. Thank you. And Aaron, your story is so instrumental, and the fact you're an entrepreneur and creating, artisan grade fudge, that's just fantastic. That's wonderful, and you're so deserving of that award. So don't count yourself short. You deserve it, and you make us proud. So I just want to close before I hand it off to Andrew. I appreciate people sticking around. I know we've run a little late, but I feel really proud about the content of what we shared today. So I want to thank participants, all the awardees for the support and partnership, and all the donations and contributions. We're doing very well. It means a lot to us. So I appreciate people thinking about making a donation to help support our veteran services. And I just want to close on a personal note. I'd like to share that I have a very special veteran in my life. My mother, Margaret Ganu Pollard, and her husband, Bill Pollard, have actually Zoomed into the meeting from Minnesota today. Mom and Bill celebrated their 20th wedding anniversary last month. But Bill is a highly decorated veteran. He's very active in the vets community in the Twin Cities. He's actually has the distinction of dual ranking. Bill is a lieutenant in the United States Navy, and he's a captain in the United States Army. So Bill, I'm grateful to have you in my family, and I'm grateful for many years of your service. So thanks for being on the Zoom call, Bill and Mom. Of course, Bill, I love you. And of course, Mom, I love you. So thanks for always being there. So I'm going to hand it over to Andrew, and I just want to thank a core group of people that organized this event. I hope people enjoyed it. First of all, Andrew Wise, our Director of Resource Development, great job. Megan Gosher, who's behind the scenes handling all the technology. She's our Communications and Brand Manager. Roberto Moran, our Chief Operating Officer. And lastly, Anthony Joseph, our Program Director at the Mass Bay Veterans Center. So Anthony, how about a quick wrap up? And thank you, everyone. Be well, be safe, and have a peaceful holiday season.
Thank you, Charles. In closing, here we go.
There we go.
Let me close by saying thank you to everyone for joining with us. If you haven't already, please go to voamass.org, make a contribution, support this incredible, important work being done every day for our veterans. Thank you for joining with us. Thank you to our sponsors for helping to support this program and our services throughout the year. We couldn't do it without you. We're grateful for all of your support. As Charles said, oh, here's our sponsors. We have to say thank you to our friends at Kasner Edwards and Eastern Bank and NEI, and there's more, and Proskauer LLP, Donato Trumuto's Healthy Villages, Partridge Snow Han, where our board director David Whitman sits. Thank you all for your support. Have a wonderful, happy holidays. Stay safe, and whenever you can, hire a veteran. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.